Hey guys, how you going? Jason Andrew here, and I'm really excited because today I'm going to share with you a couple of secrets, some tips that from our financial planning business, and some things that from a system that we spent over $200,000 for over the course of 4 years. I'm going to share with you. I'm going to give you some of those elements for free today, and it's the 3 essential elements that you need to know and how to create a financial plan. Now, people used to pay us thousands of dollars for this information. I'm going to give it to you for free now. Do you know why? Because when I was going through the process of delivering this excellent value to people, I realized that the conversations that we were having were conversations that I could have with anybody. And these were conversations that needed to be had with anybody who wanted to do something with their finances. So what I'm going to discuss today is not going to be about financial products. It's not going to be about where to invest in markets. It's going to be some really core fundamentals that you need to know so that you can start your plan on a really, really core and essential kind of footing. And of course, there's the disclaimer here that this is not personal advice. It's general, so you need to see a financial advisor for financial advice. Please get that into your system. If you feel like this is financial advice at any time, let me know, because it definitely isn't. I know what financial advice is because I used to be an advisor. Okay, so let's get right into it. What are these 3 essential elements? Well, what we used to use was a system called a financial roadmap. And this outlined the actual interactions that we would have with clients from the first meeting right through to creating and implementing their plan, and also engaging them ongoing. So the first essential element that we discussed within this financial roadmap was getting to understand people's values. Now, I've mentioned this a couple of times, and I know that you may think that you go sit down with the people and they talk through values, but I can tell you that after having spent $200,000 plus flying to the US over a dozen times to learn a system on how to facilitate a conversation around values and around understanding how they link back into financial goals, that unless you've actually meeting with somebody who's done that and has invested that time and commitment to get to know you, then you're going to be falling short on that kind of conversation, because we don't take this lightly. It's not some kind of wishy-washy conversation. Pick a couple of values out of a hat and let's just chuck them in a plan. What we used to do was get down to the nitty-gritty of understanding what really makes somebody tick, around understanding it's based around Maslow's hierarchy, around their physiological needs, understanding what their safety mechanisms were, what peace of mind meant to them, what security was, what they had wanted to build their goals, what did they want to give back to the community. So it wasn't like, necessarily I wanted to save for an Aston Martin. It was really, really fundamental things. In fact, we had clients that came in and some of their goals were to actually save the planet. So, this was a very different conversation. So this is free for you guys. You need to really get serious with your values. And in fact, anybody that is successful practices their values, even if they don't know it. So we would get your values, document them down in a way that is meaningful to you and that you have an emotional conversation with, so that you are getting the tissues out and that you are the Kleenexes, that you're so in touch with your values. Then once you get your values in place and you know what they are, then what this does, it allows you to have a clear vision on your future based on what's important to you. So you have a really good conversation around that and you own it and you're emotional. Then you know where you want to head, because you know what is right and what is wrong and what feels right and is and wrong for you. Then once you have that clear vision, then you can start setting in your financial goals. So this is step number 2, your financial goals. Now I probably should bring up here, values. And then number 2, clear and definite goals. So your clear and definite goals are specific and to a time frame and to an exact date, not just some wishy-washy. I want to have $500,000 in another 5 years, or I want to be able to just travel, or I want to pay down my mortgage. It's got to be like exact number and exact date, and you need to attach an emotion to that as well. So that's the second thing. So number 1, get clear on your values, and then you can have clear and definite goals with timeframes. And then this third one was the one where people stepped up. They stepped up the most. So they fell down the most, was in having actual understanding exact current position. So that's getting honest with your current finances. So I can't tell you how many times people used to come into a meeting with nothing, like didn't even bother to bring their statements, and they'd expect us to help them without even knowing what the situation was. So you would need to know exactly what your current situation is, speak to your accountant, go online, get online help, go to your bank, download your statements, go to your broker, download your investment statements, your superannuation. You should know that to the cent. We have a system called impactsavings.com, which you can go into, but that's for another time. But what I really wanted to get into you today is just those 3 steps. And that's really it, guys. That's it. So just know your values, get your clear and definite goals, and the exact current position. And can you believe that what I just told you is worth over a couple $100,000, and people would pay us $5 to 10 grand just for a meeting, and an ongoing client would pay us between 24 and 36,000 a year to facilitate that kind of this discussion. So when you really look at it, financial advice is around the product side, and you'll see an advisor who can do a great portfolio, which everybody in the world can do. But what you want to do to have the real fundamentals of a financial, creating your own financial plan, is getting those 3 elements right. Okay, I hope that made sense for you. Now, what you want to do now is to go to this website here called fundmoney.me. And this is where you're going to download your cash flow breakthrough to start getting more tips like that and start getting your way towards creating your financial strategy. It all starts with you taking action. So it's been great that you watched this to here. Why don't you take some action? Go down and download that book for free. And I look forward to giving you the next live soon. Cheers, guys. To your happiness.